I've heard many crazy stories throughout my life. And I know that Shara Bullet was having a very difficult life. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know something like that. He comes from a striking background, unlike majority of Dagestani fighters, and he has recently he has recently suffered his first loss to Michael Venom Page, which to some point was kind of shocking, surprising. But at the end of the day, Shara Bullet is coming with a very, very, very different and difficult story. He is not a striker like majority of Dagestani fighters, but he could have turned into wrestlers. The guy comes from a Muay Thai background, but he could have been a really, really good wrestler if years ago, before UFC, he wasn't kicked out of Khabib Nurmagomedov's famed MMA gym. Believe it or not, Shara Bullet was told he would need a new haircut in order to continue training at Khabib Nurmagomedov's dad's famous MMA gym. You know that Magomedov has been taking UFC by storm since making debut in 2023 before he was stopped by Michael Venom Page. Legends as Khabib, Makhachev, Lomachenko, and many others, including Ankalaev, were bred to become champions, but he has never been a part of their team. I mean, in Dagestan, everybody knows to wrestle. You can't say that the guy doesn't know to wrestle because he does. In Dagestan, everybody knows to wrestle. But Sharabulat is predominantly a striker, which is pretty strange for a UFC guy who comes from that area. But instead, he had to focus primarily on Muay Thai. Now he's better known as a striker than most Dagestani fighters who are renowned grapplers. Could have been very different if his initial meeting with Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov had gone other way. And training at Khabib Nurmagomedov's gym, you know that Dagis are extremely traditional and that those victim crime pussies do not tolerate when you're different. And you know that is pretty much unfair towards Sharabot. The guy is fighting with one eye and he is so successful. I mean, I don't know whether I would be able to cover up with one eye, not talk about striking and other things. But they have been unfair towards him, you know. Abdul Manap used to be very, very unfair. And according to Sharabuat's story, Abdul Manap said three things are important for an athlete. This is hairstyle, thing number one. Second is not to walk at night because there is no chance at night. And the third is discipline to come to training on time. While I 100% support the second and the third thing, not walking at night because you will be tired makes sense, and discipline is extremely important. My coach is also saying that. And discipline might be the most important thing, but if you're hanging around at night, if you're going to nightclubs, dojos, etc., you'll never be able to climb to the top of the mountain. It's simply impossible. If you're not disciplined, your testosterone levels are going to start to fade. It perfectly makes sense. But why hairstyle, man? What was wrong with this man's hairstyle, according to Abdulmanap? That's what he says. The first one, I always had a long haircut, and in my childhood, youth, school time, I heard about the gym. The problem was that to sign up there, you had to have the haircut. There was one time I went there when Khabib was young, and he actually wasn't trained that day, so I trained. I left, and the problem was that Abdulmanap said, "You need a short, bold hairstyle." Then I didn't understand the meaning of it. It seems that it may not interfere in principle. Yes, well, if you take it from the outside, why do you grow it? When you're young, you want to look beautiful for the girls, and for a fighter, it shouldn't be there. An athlete should focus on their own training, and then the girls will come when you're getting high titles at 5 levels, and you won't have a single hair on your head. And I completely disapprove that. Now, I'm going to tell you why I disagree with this horrible principle and why this sucks. You got Clay Guida, for example. Clay Guida fights with long hair for the majority of his life. And he was pretty successful, you know, he fought some of the greatest, highest level top tier names, and he's still doing a great job. We can't ignore the fact that the guy is really, really doing a tremendous job. And the guy is like turning 40 plus and he's still fighting, which is totally, how to say, that is totally off the rails. If you're going to listen to what is this guy saying, this thing is totally off the rails. Also, in Dagestan, they don't like chicas training. They believe chicas should stay at their homes and work on their husbands. It is horrible. It is literally horrible. Majority of females, I would say 90% of female fighters are having long hair. And why would long hair be a problem? You can have dreads. There are many ways to take care of long hair. You don't have to be a rocket scientist for that. Really, there are tons of ways. You can have a ponytail. There are so many ways you can deal with long hair. So I completely disapprove that. This literally means if you're a female, you cannot train. So shame on you, Abdulmanap. Shame on you for your stupid principles. I mean, where is the freedom of speech? Where is the freedom of look? Where is the freedom of choice? I understand that people should be disciplined, and I understand that you shouldn't work at night because you're going to waste your energy. But man, haircut, for real, haircut, you dumbass. The guy could have been the champ if you accepted him. He's still a top tier fighter and a top tier striker, but he might never become the champ because of your stupid choices. It seems Khabib wanted to make up for his father's sins, so Shara Magomedov met Khabib at a recent convention in Dubai, and UFC legend was giving a speech at the conference. They posed for a picture which went viral on the internet, with the new star explaining what he gained from listening to the speech. There was a big business in Dubai. Was there in the audience? It was mostly Russian speaking. There were headphones because it was in English. And Khabib wanted to make up. The story began, and he gifted Shara Magomedov an expensive watch during their meeting. I know Khabib wanted to make up for his father's sins, but he should have never done it. It was not his choice. He has never been a guy who prohibited Shara Bullet from training. But congrats on that, Khabib. I mean, one of the good things you did is this. The legendary lightweight champion insisted that Shara Bullet stays, gifted him a brand new watch, which he reckoned to be quite expensive. And the meeting was great. Khabib was very nice, Magomedov said. He was exactly what I expected. Didn't want to take up a lot of his time. There was even a moment when I saw that he was being distracted here and there, and he had other meetings planned. So the two already talked. I was thinking about leaving, but he said, "Wait, don't go. Sit there and we'll talk." Gave me a watch. I was very pleased with such a gift, no matter what it is, but in fact it was an expensive gift. It's very nice to get that kind of attention. I mean, congrats, Khabib, for that. But your dad made a horrible mistake. I'm gonna tell you. This guy would have been a champ if he turned into a top tier wrestler because his striking is way better than Omar's. He is a top tier striker. Like his striking is 11 out of 10. Imagine how good wrestler he would have been.